Most couples think money arguments start only when it comes to spending. However, they don't understand that it is because one spouse has complete control of the money, which affects the transparency and trust with the other spouse. In this video, you will be learning how you can take your money matters seriously when it comes to couple finance. Hi, this is Anirudh Bellare here. Welcome to the 46th video of Your Best Financial Life series. In today's video, you will be understanding the reason why it is easy to fall in love, but to maintain that money related issue as in understanding and transparency when it comes between husband wives usually becomes a tedious and a different task for you. Now see, you must be thinking, I am a young boy, who am I to give you advice on all of this? But see, do understand, it's not whether I'm a child or whoever. I have learned this concept. It's not about learning this concept. It all depends on you. You may choose to, you may not choose to see this video, but I guarantee you one thing. If you actually address these points, it could help you to an extent which could make you a better financial manager within your house with your spouse. And that is why I've come here for this 46th video for you. Let's move on to the first point. See, the first point over here is something called your love versus accountability. Now see, what do I mean by this love versus accountability? Usually what happens, see, we human beings are social beings. Now what is the meaning of social beings? When it comes to the opposite gender, it is very easy to get attracted, to have a crush on someone or to like a particular person, and which is very, very normal for humans. But understand this. When it comes to actually getting married with the person whom you love, or your arranged marriage or whatever marriage, things after that start getting tough. Now what is this start getting tough? See, say for example, there is this person named your favorite friend Raju. Now this is Raju and this is Raji. Now see, these are just fictional characters here, Raju and Raji. I have not taken anyone's actual names here. Now see, in this scenario, when these both got married in the year 2007, now what had happened that time? Now see, you must be knowing that in 2007 salaries compared to today's date 2026 was lesser. But over here, Raju, say for example, he was earning a salary of that time, right? So let's say 20,000 rupees, which was actually a very big thing. And the wife, she was working in a bank and she was also doing extremely well in her life, and she was also earning, say, an example of 25,000 rupees. Now see what happens over here, and as I mentioned in the first point, which is love, Raju and Raji, they eventually fell in love and got married. Very easy to tell. But when it comes to accountability, there were times when Raju did not inform his spouse Raji about what are the transactions Raju is doing with his bank account as in his money. And the same applied with Raji to Raju. Now in this cycle, when you see, what is the missing sense? The missing sense over here is called your word named transparency. Now what is the meaning of this word transparency? Transparency is nothing but you display or you tell your spouse about all your spendings. Now see, for example, if Raju had bought a particular motorcycle on loan or by whatever means, and he did not inform Raji the way by which he bought, what type of loan Raju took, how many years the loan will last. And the same thing goes with Raji. Raji also bought, say for example, jewelry, which she always wanted to buy. But she did not inform Raju how costly the jewelry was, when will the jewelry be useful, and all these things. See, the gap identification of these questions and not having transparency between the both is what started to affect them in the long run. As a result, it more or less felt like Raju will see his expenses and Raji will see her expenses. Now see, in these type of scenarios, it feels like two people love each other, but when it comes to money, both are eventually separate. Now, this is where the actual thought process comes. It fully depends on you whether you want to separate your finances with your wife or husband, that is your spouse, or whether you work together as a team to achieve a goal together. Now see, usually when people get married, there are a lot of individual goals which become together goals. Now what is together goals? One person to achieve something, say it takes like around 3 years. Now when you have another person who has a similar goal, the time taken to achieve that particular goal will eventually slow down, because always remember, 2 is always better than 1 in case of this finance scenario over here when it comes to husband and wife related finance issues. Now see, if Raju and Raji were actually true and they were transparent with their type of money transactions, and they used to tell the spouse what type of transactions they are doing, and all these questions related, as I told you, it becomes lot more understanding, which creates a sense of openness between both the spouse. And that is where the whole ideology comes here. Being transparent, openly communicating. Now see, it's, as I mentioned, it's very easy for me to tell. When you actually write down these goals, or you actually talk to your partner about it, how useful it would be. See, in today's day, with all these electronic gadgets, it's very easy to keep being on social media and not to keep interacting with your partner. Now see, it could be as a stress buster that you may use social media or whatever means. But having that conversation on how to actually reach that money related goals is why I am here, coming and telling you this concept. I very well know you must be knowing what I'm telling, but it is for you that I'm coming here and telling you all of this. Now see, let's move on to the second most important point here. See, your second point is nothing but there's something called unplanned approach. Now see, what do I mean by this unplanned approach over here? See, again, this is a different example. Jaggu and Jaggi. Now say for example, Jaggu was earning a salary of X and Jaggi was earning a salary of Y. Now what becomes important here, as I mentioned in the previous point about transparency, this is a continuation of that particular point whereby I said unplanned approach. Now what is this unplanned approach? Now say for example, Jaggi has got a 20% rise in her salary because of her completing different type of projects in her organization. Now, instead of Jaggi actually going and talking about this to his spouse, to her spouse, what happens here is Jaggi goes and buys, say for example, a particular watch she always wanted to buy without informing her husband, and as a result, what happens? This is where the concept of unplanned approach comes, where there is a lack of planning. See, whatever be the salary between one spouse and the other, to pool that salary together, to club it together, and to actually reach your goals, it is a very, very big booster benefit. And that is why I'm telling you this. As I mentioned earlier, 2 is always better than 1. The same thing over here. Now, how do you actually ensure that the relationship between these two people are actually good? See, it all starts when you get married. It's a very exciting experience, right? And I'm also trying to imagine the same. The same thing, the excitement with which a person gets married, the same excitement, if you can show a little bit in your finances, how long you can go together as a team, because eventually you're on the same boat. And that is where the concept of planned approach becomes important, and not this unplanned approach. Now see, it's easy. I can cancel this out for you. Now, how do you plan your finances? See, now there is something called, you actually write down your needs. Now say when both the husband and wife stay under the same roof, what type of expenses usually come? Whereby I've mentioned in my video of capital expenditure and operating expenditure. Now say for example, the same concept in the house. Now you have something like your needs, which is your food. If rent is there, then rent. Just writing it as an option. Shopping. And miscellaneous. Now see, all of these, say for example, Jaggu and Jaggi, they actually started writing down all of this, or you can say making a note. It's better to have clarity than not having one. That is why I say, when you see your needs, and if they come to know that by around, say a hypothetical figure of 70,000 rupees becomes important for them. Important as in, it is like, this is what they need to use for their day-to-day, monthly expense. Now, if they have a fair idea that 70,000 is going to go out of their pockets to actually plan, and when they get a raise or when they get any extra money from their business, to actually either invest that money or to actually go on a travel or tour trip, or to fulfill the unfulfilled goals, which money can help, they can do it. But that small plan ideology, by just asking that question to your spouse, how can we work together as a team when it comes to our finances together? And this is where, if the word ego comes here between the husband and the wife, this is where all problems start happening, which I don't want for you. And see, this is a very personal concept of ego. You need to know how to handle it, especially when you're under the same house, under the same roof. That's where it becomes important. Let's move on to the third point. See, there is something here called list, identify, and split. Now, what do I mean by these terms over here? See, what is the meaning of this word list? Simple, to the point. You write down all your expenses in that particular month, as I mentioned. So list is done. That is writing down all your expenses. Now identify. Identify what? Identify your common financial goals. CFG. Once this is done, you have at least written it down, or at least you have manifested it in a particular book. Point number 2. And to reach that common financial goals, you have your investments together, whereby a right financial advisor for you from your network or from any source from where you trust that particular financial advisor will be perfect for you. If you know such a person, then you can go and have a consultancy session with that person. Because remember, when it comes to our human body, when we get a problem, we as in, if say for example, you get a problem in your body, you go and consult the doctor, he or she advises you what to do, which medicine to take, how much rest to take. This exact same thing, you give importance to how to grow your money with the help of a financial advisor, which will really help you in the long run. And there is no mode of actually not paying money and doing it. See, no service comes free of cost. To actually gain that expertise or knowledge from the other person, it is important that you spend that amount of money and actually take the consultancy service. Now, once you do that, you're investing in the right assets, gets sorted, and then you come to the word split. Now, this is a very interesting term over here, split. Now, what do I mean by this word split? Now, see, usually what happens, if say for example, the man in the house takes the responsibility of actually ensuring that all the expenses and the investments with consultancy of his wife in terms of how the house finances can run, if that kind of transparency is there, very good. Now, at times what happens, if say that particular wife, she has decided to take a career break to take care of her child who is 1 year old or say 2 years old, now what? This is where it becomes extremely important for the husband to take a responsibility of the house and actually start investing on the wife's name. Because see, the wife has taken responsibility to take care of the child. Otherwise, it is very easy for any parent to put their child in a daycare or any particular place as in to a person whereby that particular person can take care of the child. As a result, the wife can also work, the husband can also work. These are two options. But say for example, in a usual scenario, whereby the wife decides that she will take care of the child unless till the child comes to at least 7 to 8 years. That is where the husband needs to be very, very important not very, very important. He has to take the utmost core accountability and responsibility by actually informing his partner on what he is doing with the finances. And that is where split becomes important. That splitting term on how this particular process can be done, whereby if any expense needs to be put in, it should be tracked, traced, whether you use a Microsoft Excel or whatever. See, this is not any promotion. This is what I use. I use as in, personally right now, I'm not married, I'm young, but in future, yes, I would do so. See, the motive of this video is to give clarity. Usually what happens, it is easy to get very attracted by any say window shopping or whatever. It's very easy to go and buy. But to actually inform your spouse by asking the right question, are we going in the same boat? Very important. Understanding the unsaid of the spouse. Now, what is the meaning of this word unsaid over here? See, this is a bit different from the finance concept, but it's like telling, suppose the wife asks the husband, can I get that watch for myself? And at that particular moment, the husband is like, do we need to actually get the watch according to the financial goals which we have put in? And if the answer is yes, because watch is a priority and it comes under the budget, then well and good. See, there are 3 different classes when you can approach this video of mine. You can either be a middle class, upper middle class, extremely rich, or whatever. Now, if you're in the upper middle class or in the rich category, this video, I don't know whether it will apply to you or not, because it's very easy for you to actually spend. I take back my words. If I'm wrong, pardon me. But I mean to say, you would not be thinking about money that much when it comes to spending on something which you really like. But when it comes to middle class families, for buying any particular item itself is a big deal. Big deal as in you need to think 2 or 3 times. And this is where it becomes important on whether how you inform your spouse, you sit together, take decisions, you analyze the outcomes, pros and cons. See, it's very easy for you to actually buy any item, but for you to sit together and have this conversation becomes difficult in today's day, because in today's day everyone is busy. And that is why I say spending time in conversations and asking the right questions in whatever you do. In this scenario, yes, your finances becomes very important. Now see, as I mentioned the Jaggu Jaggi example or the Raju and Raji example, there could be a lot of Raju and Rajis in your life as well. Your life as in could be you, it could be me in the future, it could be your friend. For you to identify that Raju or Raji in you and to actually think about how you can make things right by having conversations is what is the eventual key. Now see, as I mentioned in the start with the starting line, that arguments also do start. Now why do arguments start? See, arguments usually start when it comes to not informing the other person. The husband does not inform the wife, or the wife does not inform the husband, depending on money related transactions, which creates a lack of trust. And that is where the core concept breaks of finance, couple finance. That is why the communication gap should be instilled by asking the right questions and sailing in the same boat. Because remember, the two of you stay under the same roof. And for you to go together as a team, very, very important. I really hope you got a lot of value from this video. I know I might have given my best in this video, and if it still did not meet your expectation, it is okay. I will keep improving in my upcoming videos. And see, there is a reason I come here every Wednesday and Sunday, because I believe there are a lot of people who are actually facing money related arguments and problems in their financial life, and I do not want it for you. And as a result, what happens? Teaching all of this, I learn, and I help you also to learn by giving you value. If you did like this explanation of mine, and if you got even a bit of understanding of all of this, you can do share this video to a lot of people, because I feel sharing this video with someone could help another person as it has helped you as well. Thank you so much once again for your precious time in this video.